Alright, what is up, boys? We're back in our video today talking about the Lions defense in particular and just the Lions team as a whole and how this team has completely been dismantled by injuries, and I definitely don't think they're going to make it to the NFC Championship at this rate. I think there are three better teams in the NFC currently at this point in time over the Lions. I think the Packers, the Vikings, and the Seahawks all would beat the Lions at this point. Maybe the Buccaneers as well. The Buccaneers are like one of the only teams to actually beat this team this year. And I think the Buccaneers are a pretty slept-on team. They have a lot of good players on that team. They just blow a lot of games. They don't, have a finisher at running back. I mean, they got Bucky Irving, and then they got Rashid White. They don't have like a guy who can just run it straight downfield. Bucky Irving's kind of done that, but even then, I don't think he really is. But sticking to the Lions topic, we're just going to be going over their injuries real quick. These are guys who are out for the rest of the year. I'm going to include Aiden Hutchinson and Carlton Davis on this list. One has broken jaw, that's Carlton Davis, and Aiden Hutchinson. He's tore a bunch of shit in his leg. Sorry for cussing. But you know what I mean. It's like Carlton Davis could potentially come back the NFC Championship game if they made it there. But, I mean, broken jaw, all that, I doubt he'd even play in that game. I think it'd be more likely Super Bowl if they made it, because that's, another 2 weeks after. So, yeah, and then Aiden Hutchinson said, he keeps coming out on Twitter saying, hey, you make it a Super Bowl, I'm playing that game, do not doubt me. I'm going to doubt him because I doubt he'll be able to come back even half as good as he was with that much stuff torn in your leg. You just want to let that stuff heal, and he won't even be at his full potential, maybe ever after this injury. It could take him 2 more years to get, even above his play level that he was at earlier this year, get back to that, because usually, you see guys like Aaron Rodgers, 1 year back from ACL injury, not that good. 2nd year back, they're back to their normal self. I doubt he'll be able to get to that point, but let's go over the rest. David Montgomery, MCL, he's out for the year. That's a big blow to their but running back core. Him, Jahmyr Gibbs are really top-heavy running back room. And then you have Craig Reynolds and then Sione Vaki, who are basically special teams players. You have no really upside running the ball. I'd say Sione Vaki has a little bit of the upside coming out of, I believe he came out of Utah, played safety and running back. But I like Cole Bishop also did the same thing, I think, for them. I can't remember which one of them was, either Cole Bishop or him that played safety and running back, but I think he did. I think both of them played safety. So he is a special teams player. But he also plays running back, just not a great safety. We have Aleem McNeil, ACL out for the year. That's a big blow to the interior of that D-line. He's their best defensive lineman by far that was active, but now he's out. You still had DJ Reader, who's a really good run stuffer. So when you had him and Aleem McNeil, that's really what made that D-line so good, because it's a hard time, running the ball up the middle on these guys, especially when you had Derek Barnes, Alex Anzalone, Malcolm Rodriguez, and then you also had Jack Campbell in that linebacking course. So you had 4 really good linebackers, and Malcolm Rodriguez is out for the year. Linebacker, people don't really know too much about him, but he's actually a really good linebacker. ACL out for the year, but you guys are going to get Alex Anzalone, Derek Barnes back week 16 against the Bears, which is, pretty good. I mean, you need to win that game. You can only really afford to lose 1 game, and even then, you have to beat the Vikings again to, win the NFC, in my opinion. And even then, I don't even know if you guys could, because the Eagles. Yeah, Eagles. I say there's 4 teams better than the Lions at this current moment. I think the Eagles are better too. I forgot to mention them. Going over the rest of the injuries that are out for the rest of the year, we have Mekhi Wingo, knee, Kyle Peko, pec, Marcus Davenport, elbow. A lot of these guys have been out for a while now, but, you're just really seeing that D-line rotation, just dwindle down to almost nothing, where you're going to have Zadarius Smith, who's a really good edge rusher, not a great run stuffer, playing every down. You're going to have to see DJ Reader play every down, which he's not capable of doing. Just want to put that out there. He's an older defensive tackle. He's still really good, obviously, but, I mean, you're not going to be able to play him every snap. It's almost impossible with a guy that age. And then Khalil Dorsey, a pretty solid corner. People don't know as much about him if you're just a casual. ACL out for a year. That's really all the injuries that are out for the year. These are the guys who could return. Alex Anzalone, Derek Barnes are expected to return week 16 against the Bears, like I said. Ernest Rakestraw, Khalif Raymond, Mel Fonwu, the safety. They are all expected to return by the end of the season, week 17, week 16, week 18. week whatever. I forget how many weeks there are now in the regular season because they made 17 games. So and then you have the bye week. So I think there's 18 weeks, and then you have playoffs, which is like important, obviously. But Ernest Rakestraw, Emel Fonwu, Eric Barnes, Alex Anzalone, all of those guys need to be healthy for this team to be successful. Because when you're looking at the current depth chart, it is rough. Like we're talking, when you look at their depth chart right now on the Lions website, what they got going on, it's not looking too good in my opinion. You have 4 corners on this current team who are active on the active roster, and it's just a rough unit. You have Terrion Arnold who's been dealing with injury almost all year or as of late. Kendall Vidal or Vildor, how you say his name, he's alright. He's not that great. Meek Robertson sucks. And then Emmanuel Mosley, this guy's torn his ACL like back-to-back years. His first year back, kind of healthy. Obviously, he's a little slow, so he can play zone coverage, but he's not really particularly that great. He's not going to be stopping the run. He's not going to be doing all that extra stuff. Safety-wise, if you get Melfanu back, you're looking really good at safety. Brian Branch, Kirby Joseph, 2 of the better safeties in the NFL, in my opinion. Kirby Joseph's having an all-pro year. You're going to have more out of him, and Brian Branch is that important. If one of those guys gets injured, I think it's game over because we've seen teams, play good in the playoffs with guys like the Bills where they had Jordan Poyer, and then they also had Micah Hyde at safety, but their corners were rough, and that kind of helped it out. And then their linebackers were solid enough, when you had like, what's his name? I forget their name. I forget his name, but the linebacker on the Bills is pretty good. I forget his name. He's been injured a lot too. But then we look at this linebacker core with no Anzalone, Derek Barnes, and then Jack Campbell is still healthy, but he, even then, has been a little overrated in my opinion. And they have Quan Alexander, who they picked up off the street. They have Jamal Adams somewhere, I think, on practice squad. He gets in sometimes. You have David Long Jr., who sucks. Ben Neiman, who's mid to bad. Ezekiel Turner, you're never going to see that guy play. Trevor Nosak, not good. Jonah Williams, not good. That's a crazy name. Al-Qaid Muhammad, this looks like I'm saying the one organization, if you know what I'm talking about. He's not that great. Zadarius Smith, a great edge rusher, but he's not, going to be playing like Mike or any of that or your other linebacker spot or other two. And then you have DJ Reader, obviously. Levi Wazukri, or how you say his name. Josh Pascal's not actually that bad. Miles Adam, Broderick Martin, and then you have Pat O'Connor. And so I just named 6 defensive linemen, and 2 of them are like Josh Pascal is not really that good, but that's your second best defensive lineman that's active. DJ Reader's your best. So you're going to really this D-line is just awful at this point. They're going to have to find ways to bring pressure. So you're going to have to bring extra guys every time, and you're going to have the defense hold up in coverage. When we go through this list of guys who are actually good on this defense, there are only really 5, maybe 4 or 5 guys who you can trust in. Meaning Zadarius Smith, DJ Reader, Brian Branch, Kirby Joseph. Terrion Arnold's been hurt a lot. Jack Campbell's just, he's solid, but he's not above average really at anything in my opinion. And now we can turn our attention to this offense. And obviously if this team gets Derek Barnes back healthy and Alex Anzalone makes a big difference in the linebacking core, which is so important when you have such a bad secondary and D-line. But going over this offense, no more David Montgomery, so that makes it much harder to run the ball up the middle, because Jahmyr Gibbs can do it, but you don't want to give Jahmyr Gibbs a bunch of runs up the middle. You don't want him getting 20 carries a game. You just don't want it because he's just going to get hurt. He's not big enough, strong enough to run up the middle consistently. Obviously, they'll probably force him to do that in the playoffs at times. But, yeah, they need to go pick up a guy like Zonovan Knight in free agency or off someone's practice squad. In my opinion, that guy's really good, in my opinion, and he just doesn't get, playing time on any team for whatever reason. If you guys know who Zonovan Knight is, that guy was lethal on the Jets last year. or 2 years ago. It's either last year or 2 years ago. He was really good, picked up a lot of slack, was a great fantasy football pickup. Quarterback's obviously really good. Jared Goff had like his best game ever, but they still lost because when you look at this Lions team defensively, they have given up so many points. They gave up in their last two games 48 points to the Bills, 31 to the Packers. And their defense keeps getting worse and worse and more injured. It's not looking good. I don't want to be surprised if they give a team 45 consistently. Especially talking about the Packers, I think they could put up 45 with how bad this defense looks right now. And then you talk about on the offense, Tim Patrick's been really good at times this year. Jameson Williams, he needs to step up big. They need to find a way to get him the ball more, especially rushing the ball. I wouldn't be mad if you find a way to give him like 4 carries a game. He's so fast, athletic. You don't want them to have to throw a bunch of screens because that gets pretty easy to read. If let's say Sam Laporta could get more involved, that'd be really good. I mean, he's being more involved as the season went on, but still, he has not done anything near as valuable as he did his rookie year. Penei Sewell's been healthy. Kevin Zeitler has been healthy enough. Frank Ragnow is healthy. And then you look at this left side of the offensive line, you have Graham Glasnow, who's been dealing with injury, and Taylor Decker, who's been dealing with injury. So that's not good. If you start losing your left side of your offensive line, it makes your offense even more one-dimensional in the rushing game, and you're only going to be able to rush it outside to the right with Jahmyr Gibbs and maybe B gap with Jahmyr Gibbs. I don't really want Jahmyr Gibbs going up the A gap. You may have to do some counters, some of that stuff. It's not like you have great blocking tight ends. Sam Laporta is not a great blocking tight end. Brock Wright is an all right, and so is Shane's. I forget how you say his last name. I think he's your best blocking tight end, but still. It's not a great group when it comes to, blocking receivers either. Your best blocker is probably Tim Patrick. And then, Amon-Ra's slot guy, he's not that great at blocking in my opinion. He's pretty strong, but still not a great blocking wide receiver. J-Mo's not at all. And then Allen Robinson, you don't even want to put him on the field because he ain't getting the ball and you're not even going to have to cover him. So, yeah, this Lions team looks more ran through than some of the girls at your school, if you know what I'm talking about. It does not look good, in my opinion, and I think this team is going to start losing games. When we look at their schedule, it's going to be rough. You still have to play a lot of teams within your conference, or not conference, but yeah, your conference, the NFC North. It's rough. It's going to be a really rough time to deal with. And when we look at these future games, you just played the Bills. You lost that one. You almost lost to the Packers, almost lost to the Bears. You're looking at 3 games in a row where it was a 1-score difference. But with your defense to keep falling apart like this, and now you have to play the Bears this week, and that's going to be at Soldier Field. I wouldn't be surprised if you lost that game. Even though the Bears have looked awful, I think this is a must-win game. You lose this game, the season's really going to be hard. It's really going to be hard to go into the playoffs. It's going to be kind of like how the Eagles were last year when they went into the playoffs. You just knew they were going to lose to the Buccaneers first round, even though they were the higher seed. You have to play Week 17, 49ers. That's a tough game. Realistically, the 49ers shouldn't be the biggest test, but the 49ers have been getting a lot of good play out of their guys for whatever reason, even though they're just in a really rough spot with injuries. Nick Bosa's out, McCaffrey's out. Trent Williams, I think, may be out. And you have a lot of guys checked out, obviously, because of just off-the-field stuff that's happened, like Ricky Pearsall. Remember, he got a bullet into him earlier in the year. Charvarius Ward's child passed away. And I think the same thing happened to Terrence. What is his name? The left tackle. How did I just forget his name? Not Terrence Williams. Why am I forgetting his name? You know who the left tackle is. He's the best left tackle in football. He is also dealing with stuff too. So, and then the last game of the year is at Ford Field, your home turf, against the Minnesota Vikings. This very well could be the game that decides who wins the division and also who gets the first seed. Don't be surprised whenever the Eagles get the first seed and you're going to have the Vikings getting the second seed and then the Lions get the 5th seed. That's probably what's going to happen in my opinion. And yeah, if you lose that game at Ford Field, you're the 5th seed and you no longer get a home playoff game unless, let's say, the 2 of the top seeds lose, or 3, I think that's how it works. 5th seed. Yeah, no. it'd have to be like the two of the top seeds have to lose, and then one team under you has to win, I think. Even then, I'm not sure if that's right, but it's not looking good in my opinion. Let me know what you think of this team. I think they're going to be a first-round exit at this point of the year unless they can find a running back in free agency who they can plug in and play and have him run up the middle. Because you still have a really good offensive line. If this thing can stay healthy enough, you have a much better shot at winning games. But it's going to be completely reliant on the offense. And you're going to have to hope you get some guys back and figure out that D-line and that cornerback situation because it's not looking good, in my opinion, and I think in almost everyone's opinion. So, yeah, that's going to be the end of the video. Make sure to go check out my bio, follow my Instagram, my TikToks. I have Instagrams, TikToks. And then if you're in the Real Sports group, thank you for watching. And, yeah, peace.